half a mile, turn left onto Sykes Street.
So it looks like I'm headed back up toward my shop. So this is going to be a longer video. We're going to run through the woods, but this is a somewhat heavy load, so it might be bogging down on a few hills. Probably will bog down on a few hills. Now, hopefully, it won't be too bad though. When I say hills, somebody who doesn't live near mountains, they'd probably be mountains to them.
At the stop sign, turn left onto Sykes Street.
I don't know why this phone is sitting at an angle. I gotta fix that.
Continue for 3/4 of a mile.
So right now we're in Palmer. We gotta head basically straight north. I mean, of course the road's not 100% straight, but if you look on the map, the route's pretty straight. I work off of Route 2, so this will go straight up to Route 2. But it's nowhere close to here, so we'll just cruise, see some woods, houses, some hills, maybe a random animal, you never know. First time, won't be the last. On this route, I've avoided a moose 3 times now. I've seen a black bear, raccoons, possum, bobcat.
In a 1/4 mile, turn left onto River Street.
A bald eagle, owls, you just never know. A coyote, plenty of deer. Not as bad as Pennsylvania deer, but...
Take the next left onto River Street, then turn right onto Franklin Street.
And again, a lot of times I'll ignore the GPS because it's wrong. It tells you directions for a car, usually not a truck.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto Depot Street.
Always listen.
Take the next left onto Depot Street.
A lot of back roads are not meant for trucks.
In a 1/4 mile, slide right onto Massachusetts 181 North Franklin Street.
So we're entering Belchertown. I know, weird name. It's actually a pretty cool little town. The center's not really big, but they have fairs and stuff like that. Very rural. Again, no public transportation in any of these places. So without a vehicle, you're dead in the water if you're not going anywhere.
Take the next right onto Massachusetts 181 North Franklin Street. Continue on Massachusetts Massachusetts 181 north for 5 miles.
This is nice. It cuts off 21. So 21 runs a little bit parallel to this. It's more toward the west. And that's usually how I get to 202. But this will go straight into 202. 21 goes through Ludlow. That's a nice ride as well. That's a lot of deer. That route has a lot of deer. I'm surprised they don't have more deer crossing signs, because I've avoided deer quite a few mornings. Right now it's nowhere near morning though, so, and it feels like snow. Looks like snow, but it's not snowing. It's cold enough to snow, but I don't think it would stick right now. It's low 40s. I think this will be it for the week. This run here. Once I get back, I don't think I'm doing anything else. So, you know, Thanksgiving coming up next week. Gonna be busy the first 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then after that, I'll be off 4 days. So, after this video, I'm not gonna post till Monday probably. I'm not gonna post at home. This is strictly for driving. Or when I'm out, see some good scenery. When I'm home, yeah, do my own thing. It's just company at work that I want. Do this day in and day out. I mean, I love the job, but it does get lonely. All by yourself most of the time. You know, I spend more time at work than I do at home during the week. And even if you have somebody at home, you never see them during the week. You know, you only have time to really go home, eat, shower, go to bed, do it again. So that's a trucker's life. And you never know what time you start, you never know what time you finish. But I'm used to it. I like what I do, so, you know, I take the good with the bad. Belchertown's actually bigger than I thought. Usually I wind up following 202, and you're through Belchertown in no time. But I didn't realize it ran all the way down to Palmer. So all this is still Belchertown. They got a few nice houses here on the right. You can tell they're new. I mean, one still has the Tyvek waterproofing on the sides before they side it. So, you know, that's a new one. I guess that's sort of the good thing about a town that doesn't have public transportation, is you get a lot of the historic homes and stuff that nobody messes with for years. They keep it the same, so it doesn't become too urban with, you know, the brick apartment buildings and city look. You still get that farmhouse look. I actually prefer that. I don't really care for the city. I mean, I don't mind working, driving through it, but I wouldn't want to live there again. It's just not me. I'll drive anywhere though. None of that bothers me. Traffic doesn't bother me. Idiots don't bother me on the road. I'm just, I don't know, I guess I got used to it. It's amazing what you can get used to, right? Times when you run this route here, you want to have your headlights on because it's not just for other traffic. It's also because the weather can change pretty quick in the hills and the valleys. It can get like really dark unexpectedly. You know, you have a cloud go over top and you get so many trees blocking the sun as it is. It can get really dark. Not only that, but sometimes when it's really dark, you'll get animals that say, oh, it's safe to cross, and then help seeing them as well as them seeing you. Of course, possum don't really see very well, even if they're right in front of you, so that's why you see a lot of dead possum. They got bad eyesight. Belchertown. Shouldn't be far to the center though. Old cemetery on the right. You can tell from the gravestones. They're all weathered. That's the nice thing about New England is there's so many places that are super old, have so much history. You know, and it's older than the rest of the country. You know, some places you see, you'll just never see anywhere else in the country. But you gotta like the cold to live up here. If you don't like the cold, this is a bad place to be. Even in the summertime, it's not that warm usually. And you get a few hot days, but for the most part, you know, nights get pretty cool.
In 1,000 feet, continue onto US 202 North Main Street.
Some really old houses here in the center. I mean, they redid a few of them, but a few they can't touch because of historical nature. Or they have to redo them exactly the same way if they mess with them. So this is Belchertown Center. Big old white church. I used to live in Reading, Mass, and they got a huge white church in the center that had a bell they'd ring every Sunday. Get used to that, and then you miss the sound not living there.
Continue on US 202 North for 22 miles.
I mean, they used to ring the bell every hour for a while there. So, if, you know, when I went to school and stuff, if you're playing outside, you'd hear the church bell and you'd know about what's spider web that was blurry words, and I'm like, uh-oh. I better do something about this. You can get a huge fine if you're not wearing glasses, and it's stipulated on your license that you need them. I mean, you can get away with contacts, but then, you know, if you got a cop that really wants to mess with you, he's going to ask you to pull one out, just so he can double check that you got corrective lenses. I forget what the ticket's called, but it's a pretty steep fine. I always wear my glasses, so I don't like put my fingers in my eyes. I won't wear contacts. Go for the ride through the woods. It ain't to grandma's house. This is a route I used to take every single day going to New York. This is actually faster than going Route 2 to 91. Just cuts off about half an hour. Like a straight shot up to Route 2. Whereas if you take 2 to 91, it's an extra 15 minutes west and an extra 15 minutes south. So it's really not worth it. I mean, if you have a super heavy load in a crappy truck, you might consider it just because of the hills on this route. But if you can make the hills, is the way to go. Plus, it's nice and scenic. There are certain places where there's a great view. You can look out over the Quabbin Reservoir, and especially in the fall, the colors reflect off the water. It's really beautiful. There's a couple pull-offs. Which I could pull off with a truck. The other one, no way. I would never be able to get in and out of there with a truck. It's meant for cars, and only cars, or pickup trucks, but not a tractor trailer. You'd never be able to get out of there. In the dead of winter, they shut it down usually to even cars because it's downhill. And it's like a little circle around a tree, and you get down in there and it's ice. You're never going to get out. This guy's got a nice spread. He's got those longhorn cows. They're like got dark fur. Most of this is conservation land around the reservoir. They do allow hunting in this area, and that's when you see most of the deer because I think they know when they're hunted and they go to public areas to get away from the hunters. But there's everything in these woods: deer, moose, bear, every other animal in between, bobcats, beavers. Never know what you'll see. Most of them try and avoid the road, but when you're driving this, when it's sunrise or sunset, you see a lot of animals, a whole lot. Why is that vibrating like that? Try and pull these hills. Not a smart place to sit. Good way to get sideswiped. say if you like classical music. I can listen to classical music, but just not all the time. I like it on occasion, but a whole day of it would probably be too much for me. Maybe a few hours. But a whole day? No. So even if I live streamed, a lot of this you wouldn't be able to see because the signal here really stinks and the phone cuts out quite a bit on this route. It's just so heavily wooded. So to give you a perspective, to the left, to the west, to my left, are houses and towns. To the right is woods for miles and miles and miles and a reservoir. That's it. There's no houses. Like right now, to my right, there's nothing. You might see one house somewhere along a dirt road, but the chances of them having any type of Wi-Fi or anything like that, slim to none. So the signal up here is really, really sketchy. It's a beautiful area. It's just remote. It's a great ride for a motorcycle, especially like in the fall while it's still somewhat warm. It's a great ride in the spring as well. You get out every type of green there is in the trees and the bushes coming down this route. The motorcycles love it, and I don't know if you know this, but 202 goes all the way down to Jersey, all the way up to Maine. So you could actually follow this route all the way from New Jersey to Maine and just stay on 202 the whole way. And a lot of it's like this. A lot of it's woods. Part of it's not open to trucks, so you're better off doing highway other than Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Parts of New Hampshire are a little sketchy too, but for the most part, New Hampshire's alright. Mass is alright. Jersey's got a few sketchy parts. Connecticut, New York, they got some sketchy parts. Maine is very truck friendly. Most routes you can take in Maine with a truck, no problem. Most. Not all, but most. Somebody bought that place that was back there on the left. It looks like a store, and they had to put up a barrier. It's like a rope and cinder blocks and stuff to say don't park here. People were parking there thinking it was a store, and the people that lived there were getting all bent out of shape. There's a bunch of fire roads that go down to the right. Yeah, let me just pull over for a second. So this is one of the spots I was talking about. Just for a minute. I'm only heading back to the shop, so it's not like I have to be anywhere. Let me just do this real quick. Hold on. Okay. So, down there, I don't know if I can see it from here. Down there is the Quabbin Reservoir. You see? Down there is the Quabbin Reservoir. In the fall, this looks really nice. But yeah, that's pretty far down there. Now that goes for miles and miles. Really pretty out this way. I just had to show you that because it's rare that I get to pull over anywhere. And this is actually wide enough. Trucks park here all the time to rest or whatever. This is Massachusetts version of a truck stop. This is one of the only spots on this road that's wide enough for me to pull over. And it just so happens to have a view. And cops love it too, so you gotta beware of speeding on this road. Because if you do, chances are you're gonna find a cop. But maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one will get you. Sunnier, you'd be able to see the Quabbin better. Maybe another time I'll stop by that spot. Like I said, there's another spot further down that has a great view, but there's no way a truck can get in it. It's right near a road called Moosehead Road. Yes, there are moose in these woods, and they're not very smart. They like to walk out on the road and they're not afraid of anything. So you gotta avoid them, they're not gonna avoid you. joke. You know, when you start seeing 8%, 10% grades, 12% grades, you know it's no joke. But when you don't even see a grade sign, yeah, it's not bad. And then as soon as you start going down, you go back up again. So not a big deal. I don't use the clutch except for in traffic or coming to a stop. So it's just easier if I don't have it on, because like I said, it messes your RPMs up when you come off the fuel. It drops way too quick. You know, I don't want to jam the gears to try and get it in time. I'd rather just feather the fuel and get it in. But with a Jake brake, it makes it a lot harder to do that. This hill, I'm bogging a little. I can't even do the speed limit right now. I always get pissed off cars behind me. More than half of them don't understand why you're going slow. They just think you're a pussy or something. Oops, sorry for saying that, but I know. I am a trucker. You know, I got a mouth like a trucker. I try not to swear too much. I try not to say things that are offensive. But it's sort of in my nature. Yeah, I'm used to getting my finger a few times a day. In New York, when I drove the city, I'd get it at least 5-6 times a day. People would flip me the bird. I just smile back at them. I don't care. I do my own thing. You do your own thing. I'm not going to tell the cops on you. I don't care. Do whatever you're going to do. As long as you don't hit me. As long as we don't get in an accident. I don't care. I've seen some crazy stuff. Every driver has. You never know what you're going to see, and then the minute you think you've seen it all, think again. Yeah, this road is well maintained though. This is better than Route 2. Route 2 is more of a highway than this. I mean, as you go west, it's like this, but going east, it's more of a highway. And this is better taken care of than that is. The state guys that do this are really good. Whoever does it for the state, they're really good. I trust this in a snowstorm before I trust Route 2. Like I said, the only downfall here is you see all the trees. You know, you get nice storms where you get a big snowstorm and some of the trees lose limbs or fall into the road. I have on occasion had to stop and yank a tree out of the road with some people just to open the road back up. I mean, it wasn't a huge tree, you know, but I used to do trees, so what I call not that big might be a little big to you. I don't know. But luckily a tree guy stopped and I stopped too, and he cut it up with a chainsaw and we got it over to the side of the road and off the road, pouring rain. But nobody else was going to do it. We weren't going to wait for the police or town all the way from just north of Belchertown, it's still to the right. It's miles long. That's a huge reservoir. Like I said, they flooded 3 towns to make it. Which is also why it's polluted. And people drink it. I don't get it. Living in Massachusetts, you learn to drink spring water. I don't trust the water anywhere. And unless it's an underground spring that feeds the lake, I'm not fishing there. Or a pond, I'm not fishing there. If it's been here for a long time and it's fed by any river whatsoever, nope. No thanks. I don't fish for sport, I fish to eat. And I'm not gonna fish somewhere that's contaminated. Because I want to be able to eat what I catch. So. Okay, we're getting close now. We got like 2 more turns before a small intersection. And then it's Orange, Mass. And then it rides right along the border of Athol, Mass. The first time I heard it, I'm like, what'd you call me? No, it's Athol. A-T-H-O-L. What'd you call me? If you live there, are you an Atholine? I'm not sure.
In a quarter mile.